Now, let me, Madam Speaker, this is very, very serious. I wish to denounce forcefully the shameful attitude of Honorable Bulel, who has made disrespectful and undiplomatic attacks against India. The Honorable Bulel stated, and I quote, because I need to quote so that they don't come and say that I am just interpreting in my own way. Let me quote, and people should, I'm sure, listen again. While the items on the budget are yet to be voted, the Indian High Commission, through subterfuge of this government, have started to invite bidders to submit their bids. End of quote. And he further stated, and I quote, but I have to tell, he has to tell the High Commissioner, and it is best that he is advised, Mauritius is a sovereign state. You cannot call for tenders and tenders to be allocated only to Indian companies. Either we are a sovereign state, either we have a private sector, either we widen circle of opportunities for our private sector. This is Mauritius. Mauritius hai desh hamara. But we are not going to be taken for a ride by any power emerging or existing. And, Madam Speaker, unquote. Madam Speaker, this is...
Order, please. Order. Order. Honorable Bulel, please. No comments, please. If you have... No, not from a sitting position. If you have a point of order, you stand up. I'll give you the floor. You stand up and make your point of order. Otherwise, from a sitting position, there should be no comments. Please.
Madam Speaker...
Who is making... Honorable Srifan? I don't want you to provoke. Please.
Madam Speaker, first of all, let me talk about the content. Let me talk about the content, then I will talk about the form. This is, first of all, absolute nonsense. And it is what I call mere India bashing that I find extremely shocking. The Indian High Commission or the Indian High Commissioner has never invited any bids on any project funded under the Indian financial assistance. In fact, all invitations for proposals have been made by the government of Mauritius and the local implementing agencies with the technical assistance of the Exim Bank of India. Another falsehood in the Honorable Arvind Bulel's intervention is that contracts have to be awarded to Indian companies only. I think he hasn't read what has been published. Let me point out that the line of credit already provides for non-Indian content of up to 70% for the Metro Express project and up to 35% for other projects. Let me now quote another nonsense of Honorable Bulel during his intervention. And I quote,
He may put his views across, but I don't think he can impute motive. There's no nonsense. He has a right to speak, but not to impute motives. Huh?
Honorable Bulel, please order. I have several times observed in this House from the opposition side saying that what the Honorable Prime Minister or other ministers are saying are nonsensical. And we can get this from the Hansard. So I don't think this word is unparliamentary.
So let me say again another nonsense from the Honorable Bulel during his intervention. And I quote, Madam Speaker, and he has to highlight the number of projects which are yet to be voted in this House. and through special purpose vehicles, money routed through the SBM, what we call the SBM infrastructure development. These are channeled to many companies, and tenders have already been called for, and we are asked to vote for items listed in the estimates of 2018, 2019. I am not talking of 1 cent, a few pennies. We are talking of more than 22 billion rupees, Madam Speaker. End of quote. Madam Speaker, all the projects for which requests for proposals have been launched so far have in fact been included in Appendix 2 of last year's budget. There have been absolutely no requests for proposal on new projects which are included in this budget 2018-2019. And I say, sometimes, when you want to be transparent, this is what happens. There was no obligation for me as Minister of Finance to include the list of projects that have been financed by Government of India. And
I have it from good authority. That's what he's saying is not true. I can read in respect of contract being awarded by the Indian government, okay, inviting bids from eligible and qualified Indian contractors, not Mauritians, okay? So I can have it here and I can submit it to you.
Yes, but they are part of the 30% of the Indian companies that are qualified.
No, there is no mention of 30%, okay? That's his way of interpreting things, and I have a different interpretation, okay? And I can submit the relevant documents.
Speaker, let me explain to the honourable member. Il est très, très rouillé. Très, très rouillé. The line of credit that we have obtained from the Government of India, for which we have signed, for which there are conditions, one of the conditions is that there is up to a certain percentage of works that can be, I explain in simple terms, that there are percentage of works that can be carried out by Indian companies, and there are percentage of works that can be carried out by any other companies, including Mauritian companies. So how? Do I have to be clearer than that? Obviously, when the institution concerned, the special purpose vehicle, would call for tenders, they will see to it that in certain cases they would have recourse to Indian contractors or Indian companies. In other cases, they would have recourse to Mauritian companies. Let me give an example. In the Metro Express project, we have been allowed to buy through the contractor how do you call that, the wagons and the wagons, the rolling stock. The rolling stock are made in Spain, from a company in Spain, CAF. It's made by CAF, company called CAF in Spain, and therefore we are buying those rolling stocks from CAF, which is a non-Indian company. So I have stated somewhere, what is this? I have a letter here, High Commissioner of India, Port Louis. Let me read. In one of the communications to me, addressed to me, Your Excellency. Government of India has, after careful deliberation, last week approved a one-time reduction of Indian content requirement to 30% of the LOC component of the Metro Express project of USD 260 million rupees. And it says here, for all well, this is exactly what I have explained. Therefore, the honourable member, I think, should take some time. And if he wants, I can further explain to him after the summing up later on. Now, And therefore, Madam Speaker, now let me say something. Let me say something that people don't know. It's good, and Honorable Bulel knows about it. That's why he's protesting. You know, this is not a matter when Honorable Bulel was just intervening and he said by himself, I know this matter has been discussed at the highest level of the Labour Party. I don't want to mention names. But this matter has been discussed. What strategy are we going to adopt with regard to all this coming from, all the support that we are getting from India? And they had decided, the Labour Party, that they had decided that they would attack India. They would attack the High Commissioner. I know. You want me to give names? You want me to give certain facts?
No, Honorable Bulel, I didn't give you the floor. Honorable Bulel, I am sorry. Please, no, Honorable Bulel, I didn't give you the floor. Please sit down. Honorable Bulel, you can't take the floor when I didn't give you the floor. Right? You can't say the Prime Minister is a liar. No. This is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. No, unacceptable. Honorable Bulel, you can put it otherwise. You can say, please sit down. You can say that whatever the Prime Minister has said is incorrect. But you cannot say that he's a liar, please.
What he's saying is totally unfounded.
But he has to respond.
No.
Speaker. No, let him.
Allow the Prime Minister.
No, I don't want him. I want him to be here. I want him to listen to what I've got to say. This matter, you better go and ask your good friend, Mr. Anil Bechu. This matter has been discussed. Madam Speaker, and I can understand his reaction because he has been corrected by the leader of the Labour Party. His speech has been corrected, just as his speech was corrected at the United Nations. You want me to tell you more on this? We were together.
Order.
Now, let me. Well, what you have said in this parliament is enhanced. It's on record. It's not a joke. For you, it may be a joke, but the gratuitous India bashing and statements that you made, it must, Honorable Bulel, it is unbecoming. It is unbecoming of you as a former Minister of Foreign Affairs to have stated all this.
Now, Honorable Prime Minister, please don't engage in the conversation with Honorable Member. I have asked Honorable Member not to provoke, please. Okay?
Okay. Let me now, Madam Speaker, let me now move to the issue of citizenship and passport to the ultra-high net worth individuals and their families. Let me put it in very simple terms, that raising revenue for the country is not the main objective of the schemes. The more so that we have built up foreign currency reserves of close to 222 billion rupees, the highest ever recorded. Raising revenue is actually the least of all the tremendous benefits that the schemes will bring. Having said this, Madam Speaker, I would like to reassure the House and the population that the granting of citizenships and passports will not be open-ended. And let me say also, when we talk about, because I say that mainly for the Labour Party, that in fact I am introducing a system which is transparent, where there is going to be accountability in the process of granting passport and citizenship to people. From 2005 to 2014, the Labour PMSD government with Dr. Navin Ramgoolam as Prime Minister, have granted 318 citizenship. 318. I won't go into the details for the time being. I have the details here, but I won't go into that. I was expecting a PNQ. I was expecting a PNQ on that matter. But let me reserve some information for later on. You are talking about, you are criticizing, and you say, no, that have to be kept later on. But they are talking about Al-Barro. If we had this scheme in place, Al-Barro, what would happen? Well, first of all, Al-Barro hadn't asked for citizenship. And secondly, as far as I know, up to now, Al-Barro has not been convicted by any court of law. And I have stated earlier, Madam Speaker, I was myself asked at PNQ on this matter, when you have international banks of the repute of Canada, of Switzerland, England, United States, whereby funds have gone through those banks and coming to Mauritius, they are still saying that, well, they are tainted money. If it is tainted money, then the Switzerland, Canada, United States, United Kingdom, all those institutions there also are not working, are not functioning. But here, let me mention one case. I won't be able to give the name though, but they are talking about that kind of people coming to Mauritius. They granted a citizenship to somebody, and suffice to say today, just for the summing up speech, that Mr. T.K.S. had been convicted in England, convicted in a case of convicted to imprisonment, s'il vous plaît. 9 months imprisonment for offense of sexual assault, indecent sexual assault. Maybe I can understand birds of the same feather flock together. Huh? And nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. This gentleman is still here. But à force de fouiller, à force de coming up with such a scheme myself, and à force d'être accusé par l'opposition, I have gone into a number of things, and slowly, when we are digging, I am going to take up this matter. We will see later on. So, let us say, and I can understand also what we are proposing would be highly beneficial to our country. If, of course, properly managed, not giving passport, not giving citizenship here and there. In order, this has been done in order to attract people to invest in the textile sector at that time. And those people, have they bought the country? Have we become locataire? But of course, if you give right, left, and center, we will become locataire. And that is why there can be a situation where if we are irresponsible, it can be detrimental to our social coherence and stability. We need to make the right selection. And we have to be very careful on the rights and privileges of the new citizens. That is why these schemes will have to be implemented with care, with well thought out guidelines, strict defined eligibility criteria, proper due diligence, as well as ensuring that they do not undermine the social fabrics of our society. Moreover, Madam Speaker, let me say it will require in the first instance the drafting and enactment of 2 stand-alone legislations, namely the Mauritius Sovereign Fund Bill and the Mauritius National Investment Authority Bill. Yeah. It will take time. It will take intensive and extensive work. And that cannot be accomplished within the short delay with which we have to present the finance bill. Therefore, I can assure the House, first of all, that it will not be in the finance bill. It will be, but it will be worked out. It will be worked out, and eventually it will come to Parliament. And then we will have a whole debate about it, and then people will see also what we are proposing. Let me say also, because I'm Prime Minister, there is a former Prime Minister also here, in this House, and more than 2 former Prime Ministers, we have requests. We have requests for citizenship, Madam Speaker. And I have been dealing with each application in a manner where I can say in all transparency and in the interest, each time in the interest of the country. I can say that it is open to a Prime Minister. When people wishes to have a citizenship or passport, how much they can offer, how much they can give. And I can speak only for myself, of course, that the way I do things in a way that I will see to it that I will be able to walk in any corner of Mauritius, la tête haute, sans être accusé d'avoir pris à gauche, à droite. But I can't speak for what has happened in the past. And that is why I say. And Honorable Mohamed, rightly so in the past, during a debate, I think, in this House, he had proposed, why is it that we don't come up with a structured system, with a scheme, whereby we give citizenship or passports to foreigners. Of course, he was mentioning about those who would invest and so on. This is, I agree. This is what we should do, so that we don't leave it for a Prime Minister to decide whenever he wants to pocket some money left, right, and center in order to give passport. I want it to be structured. I want it to be transparent, and I want to see to it that things are done properly according to guidelines. Otherwise, it is in my interest. I could have, well, if I was a dirty fellow, I would have said, well, why do we have to come up with this scheme?